morning 3B. Sorry, good morning 3C. This is Mr. Wong. Okay, today's science lesson will be going through question 13, 14, 15 of your Materials Topical Worksheet. And then after that, I will let you try some questions that cover the topics from diversity, living and non-living things, all the way to materials. Okay, so I will try to do that on SLS if I can put it up on SLS. If I can't, I'll create a link on SLS to guide you to Classcake to complete it. Okay, don't worry, these are all MCQ, so it's definitely much easier for you to complete it. Alright, so let's start with question 13. What I have here is that I have 4 different materials, each of the same size and thickness. So I have 4 different materials, A, B, C, and D. I put 2 kg blocks on it, so 2 kg blocks, 2 kg blocks, 2 kg blocks, and I record the number of blocks that I put on it, perhaps until it breaks. Okay, until they break. Okay, as shown. And then these are my results. Okay, so A can only carry 2 blocks of 2 kg, and then it breaks. B 7 blocks, C 9 blocks, and D 5 blocks. So once again, it's not really about the number, exact number like 2, 7, 9, and 5. It's really about comparing these numbers. Who is the stronger material? Who is the weaker material? So obviously, just to answer the question I posed to you as I asked you to think about this question, okay, what is this? What is the property of the material that the experiment is testing on? If you understood the whole experimental setup, you realize that it is testing on the property of strength. Okay, so in materials question, it's very important to know what is the question about. Okay, this question is about testing of strength. So they are testing you on strength. And what do these numbers tell me? Okay, so you realize we have 2, 7, 9, and 5. It's really not about the numbers per se, but what do the numbers tell you? So I'll focus on the smallest number and I'll focus on the greatest number. Okay, so the smallest number is 2, which belongs to material A. So material A can only hold 2 blocks of 2 kg before it breaks, so I can say that this is the weakest. So it's really about what the numbers tell you about the material itself. And of course, on the other hand, material C can carry 9 blocks of 2 kg before it breaks. Is the most number of blocks it can carry, so this is the strongest. So tell me about the material. Okay, tell me about the property of the material. Alright, okay, so with that, let's answer the question. So if you understood the question, the data that's presented to you, the question actually is quite straightforward. So which is the weakest material? I want the weakest. So which is the weakest? I know that it is actually A. It is from the table. So why is it A? Okay, so tell me the evidence first, or basically tell me what is shown in the table. A carried the least number of blocks before it broke. Okay, so some of it tell me that A carried only 2 blocks. So you're just telling me about A. I need you to compare between A, B, C, and D. That's why I use the word the least number of blocks. So when I say the word least number of blocks, I'm actually comparing it with other materials. A, C, B, C, and D. So A carried the least number of blocks means it is the weakest means it is the weakest material. Don't just tell me the raw number here. Okay, don't tell me that A can only carry 2 blocks. So what? Okay, but A carried the least number of blocks before it broke. Okay, so that is what makes it the weakest. So on the other hand, I want to make a bookshelf that can hold 15 kg. So there's a mass, there's a weight that I need to hold. There's a mass that I need to be able to hold up before the bookshelf breaks. So in this case, which material should I use? Okay, definitely I'm not going to use A. So am I going to use B, C, or D? Okay, so B can only carry 7 blocks of 2 kg. So 7 times 2, you realize is 14. Not enough, I want 15. 9 times 2 give you 18, correct? If it can hold up to 18 kg, definitely it can hold up to 15 kg. For D, can only hold up to 10 kg because 5 times 2 is 10. 10 kg is not enough because I want to hold up to 15 kg. So straightforward, the answer is C. Okay, so why is the answer C? Let's explain. Okay, there are two ways of explaining. I'm just going to show you one way. Why is it C? Because C is the strongest. Again, I show comparison. C is the strongest material. Okay, so you need to tell me that it is the strongest material, and don't just tell me how much it can hold and stuff. C is the strongest material because it can hold, or it can carry. Carry will be a better word. It can carry um the most number of blocks before it broke. Okay, this is just telling me that it is the strongest materials. This is just telling me that it is the strongest material, but doesn't tell me that it can hold up to 15 kg. Okay, so what I need to do is I also need to add on. Okay, so the first part is just telling me that it is the strongest material. Second part, you need to also tell me that it can hold up to 18 kg, because there's no point using the strongest material but yet it cannot hold 15 kg of books. Okay, so this is the answer for C. This is the most complete answer. Right, so we know it's C because C is the strongest. So once again I show comparison. Okay, I must show comparison between the different materials. So C is the strongest material. Tell me why is it the strongest material. Don't just stop there. C is the strongest because it can carry the most number of blocks before it broke. Okay, again I compare most number of blocks, and then after that strongest doesn't mean I doesn't mean you can use it. Strongest plus it can hold up to 18 kg of mass, because 9 blocks times 2 is 18 kg of mass. So if you can hold up to 18 kg, you can definitely hold 15 kg. Okay, so a lot of you did not mention this part. That's why I arrow it down and ask you uh, to explain further. So a lot of you got the first part, which is the strongest material. Of course, I did mention that you can carry the most number of blocks, but a lot of you didn't mention up to the 18 kg. Okay, so make sure you get these two parts in. So telling me that it's the strongest, telling me why is it the strongest, and telling me that it can hold up to 18 kg will form the complete answer. All right, so let's go on to the next question. Okay, so this is a pretty simple one. I have two objects. I put it into the water. Uh, so one floats, one sinks. So let's write down what we know. So we know that this one floats. So let's write floats over here. And then the Q actually sinks. So let's write sinks over here. Alright. So once again, whenever it's a material question, think about what property is the experiment testing on. It's testing on the ability to float or sink. Okay, so whatever question on material, please refer back to the property that the experiment is testing on, and then think about what it tells you about P and Q. In this case, it's quite straightforward. P floats, Q sinks. Okay, so let's look at the question. They're asking you which one represents P and Q, or glass marble and duck, rubber duck. Glass marble will sink. We have seen it in the activity we have done in the activity book. So glass marble is actually my Q, and rubber duck is my P, because rubber duck floats. Okay, so with that understanding, I have this application question here. I have a kickboard. Some of you learn swimming, you probably have used this before. To hold it as you learn how to swim is to help pupils learn how to swim. So if a kickboard is to help children to learn how to swim, what property must it have in relation to this question? You realize that it's not about strong or flexible or anything else. It is that it must be able to float. Okay, there's no point if it sinks to the bottom of the pool, and then how are you going to use it to learn how to swim? So the most important property is that it must be able to float. Okay, it must be able to float. Okay, so which object P and Q is made of the material that is most suitable to make the kickboard? Okay, I want the kickboard to float, so it must be P. The answer is P. Okay, because the kickboard needs to float. So explain your answer why it must be P. So because P floats on water. Okay, that is just telling me the property. So this is telling me about property. Tell me how the property help in its function. So it helps to keep the children afloat. Okay, so what's the point of using this kickboard is to make sure you stay afloat. Okay, it's like a float, so you hold on to it, you will stay afloat as well. So you cannot just stop at telling me that P floats on water. This is the property, but how does the property help in its function? So the mentioning of okay the mentioning of okay hold on. All right, so you cannot just tell me about the property which most of you have told me about. You also need to tell me how the property actually links to the function of the float. So what you need to do is you need to link the property of the material to the function of the object. Okay, so do not just tell me about property, also link it to the function of the object. So why I choose P? Because P can float, and when it can float, it can help children to stay afloat. Okay, and that's the function of the kickboard itself. Okay, so link the property to the function. All right, so last question. Okay, let's hold on for a while. All right, so question 15. I have someone tying a hammock. Hammock is something like this, on between two trees, and then I can lie on it, and I can actually take a nap on the hammock. So if I tie a hammock like this and I am able to rest on it by sleeping on it, what is the important property of a hammock? Okay, let's go by in order. Let's go in order of the property. Okay, you realize the first important property is that it must be strong. Okay, it must be strong so that it can be able to hold the weight of the person resting on it. It won't tear. Okay, and then the second property that is important is it has to be flexible. Okay, and of course the third one, we don't want it to get wet. Maybe waterproof is important, but waterproof is not the most important property here. So for an object, sometimes you have to rank the property in order of its priority. Okay, so some things, yes, of course waterproof is important, but if it's not strong, then the person can't even rest on it. So sometimes you have to rank according to the importance of the property. So for a hammock, most importantly, it must be strong. If not, the hammock will tear when the person lies on it. Second, it has to be flexible. Third, it has to be waterproof. But this is in order, okay, of the priority of the property. So I have three different materials here, X, Y, and Z. I'm asking you which one is the most suitable to make the hammock. I want to look for a strong. Only Z is strong. And because only Z is strong, uh, that's why the answer is Z. Okay, so Z is the most suitable make to make the hammock. Why? Okay, so let's write the evidence down and write the reasoning. Okay, so this year you have seen I have lines, I have boxes as well. Let's write the answers in the boxes first. You can write in point form, you can write in short form, and then after that we'll learn how to construct the answer on the lines later once we have done the evidence and the reasoning. So the claim here is that it's Z because Z is the only material that is strong. Okay, so the evidence here is that Z is the only material that is strong. Okay, Z is the only material here that is strong. X is not strong, Y is not strong. It is actually weak. So if the person rests on it, it will probably tear. So the reasoning, why must you go for something that is strong? Why not flexible? Why not waterproof at the start? Okay, because okay, let's talk about hammock. Okay, hammock must be strong. That's the first important criteria, because as it needs to be able to support the weight of the person before it tears. Okay, so there's no point if I have hammock and it's weak, I rest on it, it tears. Okay, even if it's waterproof, even if it's flexible, there's no point if it tears before I can rest on it. Okay, so being strong is the most important property. So sometimes when you write this, it's actually the same as here, which is the case over here, but sometimes the evidence and the reasoning, you need to reconstruct it so that it sounds better and it links better when you write it in words on top. Okay, so but for P3 and P4, most likely whatever you write over here is whatever you write in your lines as well. So let's construct this out. Okay, so why did I choose Z? Because Z is the only material that is strong, and you need the hammock to be strong, and hammock needs to be strong. Okay, in order to hold, okay, I can write it in another way. In order to support the weight of the person lying on it. Thing like that, lying on it, so that it won't tear. So I rephrase a bit so it sounds better. Okay, all right. So let's run through this again. I choose Z because Z is the only material that is strong. You realize here. Hammock needs to be strong in order to support the weight of the person lying on it so that it will not tear. Okay, no point it being flexible, no point it being waterproof if it's not strong in the first place. So in terms of property, there are some properties that are more important, there are some properties that are less important. So this question, the important thing here is to make you realize that for certain objects, some property is more important than another property. So sometimes you choose material based on the priority of the property that we need them to have. Right, so we have done this whole worksheet is done already. We have actually finished the whole chapter on materials during HBL per se. So what happens that for the next 2 days, for today and tomorrow, you will be working on two quizzes that I will be setting for you. If I can put it on SLS, I'll put it on SLS. If I cannot put it in Classcake, then I'll put in Classcake. I'll put the link in the SLS for you to go to Classcake. Okay, so make sure that whatever work you have done so far, actually every single piece of work that we have done so far, from fungi and bacteria to material, should be done. So make sure you check back on the YouTube videos, you check back on the SLS work, make sure that everything is done until now. I will come out with a list of things that should have been all completed, and I will show it to you before the end of HBL so that you can keep track of your work. So that when you come back in June, you'll be all ready to start work afresh again. Right? See you tomorrow.